am kind of so tired of these things. This is what happens when you buy a used RV. 2 nights ago, I noticed there was some condensation underneath the front cab of my RV. And a couple local gentlemen looked at it and said, no, I wouldn't worry about it. It's just condensation. And when I turned the heater off yesterday, it did seem to stop. However, I was supposed to travel today and it just ate at me. And this morning there was an RV tech right across the street and I decided to ask him to just look at it. So he did and recommended that I could probably continue on to my next location. We refilled with antifreeze, which luckily I had some. So always keep antifreeze on your RV. And then he basically said I would need to stop every 30 to 60 minutes and double check to make sure that the antifreeze was still in there. And on the trip, and I didn't feel comfortable with that. So I was able to find someone in Cave City, Kentucky that will take a look at it. And I'm just sitting here waiting for everything to cool off. Hopefully it's a hose and not a head gasket. RV life, right? So I will be spending the night here at the garage in their parking lot. I'm a little nervous about it, but the doors will be locked. Everything will be fine. People know I'm here. They know where I'm staying. Hold on, I gotta get the cat door. I had the cat door locked so that Katie could not get up front when they had the garage off the front part of my cab and escape out the hole in the floor in the cab. And we're here. I'm having pizza for dinner tonight, which is what I plan to have. I was kind of winging it. I did have a place I was staying tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday night. And now it looks like it might just be Sunday night. But I did not have a whole lot of extra campgrounds. And I want to make sure he finishes this tomorrow before I start booking campgrounds. I am trying to get to Pennsylvania by Friday, which is a week from today. And we will see how that goes. There is a pretty sunset tonight. I have no electrical hookups. I left my electrical cords back at the campground in my Jeep because I wasn't thinking. And I should be fine. My solar, I think, a few minutes ago, about 45 minutes ago, it was still at 100. I put my refrigerator on gas. I don't need air conditioning tonight. I will need heat, but the mini split with the heat is minimal. It takes very little energy. So I figured it's not gonna really use much energy at all. And I should have plenty to watch TV. I also have my large battery bank fully charged. And dinner tonight is going to be with the oven, which will heat up the camper a little bit while I'm cooking my pizza. So that's what it is. Another day in the life. I did say when I started this journey that I wanted to experience everything, good and bad. And I guess if this is the worst it gets, then it's not that bad. I don't think I would have gotten very far if I chose to ignore the situation and not pay attention to it. I think I would have really done some damage to my engine, and it would have cost me a lot more money than it's going to cost me. So when you see little things, get them taken care of before they end up costing you even more money. And that's it. So I'm here for the night. Hopefully I will be out of here tomorrow afternoon and back at the campground for a night before I move on to my next campground in Kentucky. And keep your fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. Day 2 of being in the shop. It is now 10:30, so I'm gonna go inside. You try and be patient. You don't want to push. I'm very lucky he's even fitting me in. It's hard to find someplace. I called a few places before I found him. Some of them couldn't work on my engine. They only worked on larger diesels, and a couple of them couldn't see me until next week. So thank God he took me in. I'm trying not to push too hard because, for one, I might come back and have something else done in March or April of next year on the engine. And for 2, you don't want to push because you want him to work on you and do a good job. So, but I am going to go inside and talk to him. So it's day 2. I'm still here. So I'm on a busier road, but after 10 o'clock last night, everything just quieted down. I lived on solar power last night. It was cold. It did get down into the 30s. I had my mini split heat pump on, which kept us nice and warm with the quilts. And the solar is now charging. It got down to about 68% last night. and I used my battery pack to run the TV. So once I get to 100, I can charge that back up again. It's about 10:30 and my solar charger is already at 73%. So luckily it's a nice sunny day, and I'm going to check out and see when I might get out of here. This is not my first time spending a night in a repair shop. It's noon now. My solar is back up to 86%. It's also nice when you have friends in the area. So I've had people checking on me to make sure I'm okay, see if I need anything. Before I decided to come to the repair shop, the day before, I had done all my grocery shopping, all my laundry, preparing to leave yesterday for another friend's campground, which I won't get to now until tomorrow. But I have my house with me. Everything is here. The dogs are safe. They got to spend the night with me. I didn't have to put them in a kennel. I'm grateful that I didn't have to get a hotel room and have that extra expense as well. Well, it's not the most fun place to spend the night. It was certainly quiet after about 10 o'clock. And I was prepared. That's the best you can do. And when you live in your RV and travel in your RV full time, these things are going to happen. I had a friend the other day who called it the freedom tax. If this were the first thing that ever happened as I was traveling, it would be hard to get past it. It did happen when I was on the road. When I left Florida this year after only 2 days, I was in a RV repair shop for 4 days. Mentally, having the experience of traveling and seeing beautiful things and spending time with friends and family, having that behind me really helps when things like this happen, because you know that this is temporary, this will pass. RV life is not inexpensive. Last year, my first year, I got off pretty cheaply. This year, the RV repairs have been a lot more, and I'm sure I'll share that in another video with you, probably in January, and I have a whole year of expenses to show you and share with you. Back home, or at least I'm back in the campground I started from. So it is about 8 o'clock. I got back here about 4 o'clock and basically got myself back to the place, same place that I was yesterday morning before I started with all this. So my car is back on the tow dolly and everything is hooked up, and I am ready to go tomorrow and to continue traveling. So it was quite an adventure. If I wanted to tell you guys one thing, it would be to not worry about breakdowns. The biggest pain is your pocketbook. And always ask if it's possible for you to stay overnight in their lot, and that will at least save you on your hotel rooms. Check the crime in the area first, just to make sure that you feel comfortable there. Things happen. Breakdowns happen, and there's no way around it. You can plan as much as you want and do everything just right. Everything that I've had fixed on the engine so far, there's nothing that I could have fixed by myself. I would have needed a mechanic. Anybody would have needed a mechanic. There's no way that, unless I'm a mechanic and I have a shop, that I could have fixed these things. So I don't feel badly about not knowing a lot about engines, because there's nothing I could have done to fix it myself. All I could do is what I did, was to diagnose that something was wrong and get help as quickly as possible. If I had not gotten this done and had driven with antifreeze leaking, my car could have overheated and I could have seized the engine, and that would have been a lot more money. You don't have to be a mechanic. You don't have to know everything. It's impossible to know everything. That's why we have mechanics. But learning how to change a tire on a car is, I would recommend. Learning how to change a tire on a tow dolly. That one I figured out, and that will save me $100 every time I have to change a tire on a tow dolly. Learn how to do some things yourself. Learn how to check your fluids, check your oil, check your transmission fluid. Learn where they are in your vehicle. Use the internet to diagnose things. Now, it's funny because on the transmission fluid, everything I looked at said that it would be red. It wasn't. I even put a paper towel down on top of it on the ground to see what color came back, and it was clear. But I knew it wasn't water. So The third thing, I guess, would be to use your intuition. If you feel uncomfortable or if you feel like something is wrong, stop and get it checked. I would rather be in the parking lot of an RV repair place or a mechanic shop for the night than sitting on the side of the road waiting for a tow vehicle to come and take me someplace that I really don't know where I'm going. I had a choice. I had a choice of what mechanic to choose from. Anytime you can give yourself more choices, you're going to win. So stay safe on the road and follow your intuition.